machine flies. This is the Sahlen 6 hours of the Glen. Ringer van der Zande and Jack Aitken in that bright red Cadillac. The 31 machine in second place, down first pole in that car. The championship winning squad at the front of the GTD Pro and GTD Fields.
Side by side there, riding that curve on the exit of turn one. It's going to be one of the areas of the racetrack where track limits will be called. Look up front, Renger van der Zande looking for grip there as they come down into the boot. It looks like the track is super slippery down there as he slows it down.
There have been raindrops, and this could be a huge factor. Tell us more, Dave Burns.
It is very warmly, but yes, raindrops on the speedway. In fact, Nicky Katzberg was told as they were coming to the green, be ready, there's weather in the area. We are surrounded on 3 sides. Yikes, watch out.
And there was a lockup by van der Zande. There's already a car off, the 52 machine. That is Sahlen.
Sahlen's behind the wheel. He suddenly saw Renger van der Zande halt his speed as the cars go side by side. They climb up the hill, out of the boot here on this legendary circuit.
Tell the car's really off pace right now, searching for grip. They do have traction control and some aids within inside the cockpit that they can work on, but the prototypes do not have anti-lock braking systems, and that's going to make these brake zones treacherous.
Tiptoeing at the end of the first lap, Mathieu Jaminet in the Porsche Penske 963 already has his windshield wiper on.
On board here with George Kurtz with the CrowdStrike Racing entry. This is an LMP2 machine. Look up ahead, Sahlen's just a low, slow, lazy spin. There's another car off to the right-hand side as they accelerate off the corner.
And this is all exploratory right now. No one knows what this racetrack is like in the damp this year. They haven't been on it yet in the rain, so right now you're learning your way through. I'm not sure I want to be the leader. I might want to be back a little bit so I can let other people go do that.
Look at that bright chrome Dex imaging Cadillac. That's Louis Delatraz, center of your screen.
Lots of spin. Taylor's off the road. Just arrests it before he gets to the tire barriers.
Fortunately, plenty of runoff there through the bus stop.
Look at this. Jack Aitken is on the attack. Renger van der Zande gets very proactive in his line. He can't slow the car down. He's off the road. Aitken scrambling for grip.
That is an all-pro driver lineup. GTD has a pro and we'll call it a sportsman driver or an AM driver, someone who does not make their living driving race cars. So that's the only difference in those cars. Look at this.
Battle for the lead. And while we watch and enjoy this, tell us more, Dave Burns.
And that is Renger van der Zande and Jack Aitken going for it. Van der Zande was told and apprised of the conditions, told that rain was coming, and after he went off track, he said, I'll stay out and manage it for now. So hang it in there, but Calvin, this cannot be easy.
No, this is where these professional drivers really earn their money in terms of these cars. They're so difficult to drive.
Let's take you back and show you how Brazil's Felipe Nasr got to the front.
There we see Jack Aitken has gotten around Renger van der Zande. And here's Nasr, third in the picture right now. And he just cuts that car to the inside and he put the power down with combined load, but meaning he's got steering and throttle application at the same time. And the car has given him the grip and he has the confidence. One of the superstars of the sport goes to the front.
How about the surface area of that tire, and how about the surface of this racetrack? This is a game changer.
This is incredibly sketchy to be driving in these conditions. You can see Stephen Thomas gets caught out by it. It's literally like someone will pull the rug from underneath the race car when you suddenly try to turn the race car. No one is at home. You cannot go slow enough at times.
George Kurtz.
Oh, that was tight there as he pulls out right in front of a Corvette.
Just like that.
Aquaplanes. Tire gets up on the standing water. And you got no control of the race car.
He was second in class when that happened, and now George Kurtz in pit lane, and I don't believe the pit lane is open, so this is emergency service because of the damage, and there'll be a penalty for coming into a closed pit.
Pits are opened, and there is plenty of activity. Let's go there now.
Jack Aitken already in his pit box. The wet tires going on. Issues on the back. They have an issue with the air. They cannot get the car up in the air. Billy Kohler can't get that rain tire on that left rear. It's treacherous down here on pit lane.
This is when the crew guys really earn their money. Think about standing there and you're working on a car and somebody else is coming into the stall just behind you. It's easy to lock up these slicks, even at that low speed in pit lane. It's a challenging place to be, Matt.
And they are losing spot after spot as all the GTPs are being serviced and exiting. Issues again with the air. They can't get the right front up in the air enough to get that slick dry tire off to put the rain tire on. They've lost a lot of track position here.
Back to green.
I think the real key was, did they use one of those windshield tear-offs during that pit stop? He may be able to survive. If he's got a dirty windshield and no wiper, that could be an issue for him.
He's already finding it difficult. Lost a position into turn 1 there and may lose another one here as they get back up to speed, up through the S's, all on wet weather tires here at the Glen.
Oh, big stack up there through turn 1 on the LMP2 machines. Is slow, accelerating off, and the Mustang has to go to the high side to escape hitting him.
That was Toby Lutke in the 18, the Era Motorsport car, the green and blue one. And look at the traffic density here with GTD Pro and GTD. And I think the Pfaff Lamborghini may have got back in front of the Paul Miller BMW.
Oren Heinrich right in the middle of that mix there. Rexy, the green Porsche, you can see the teeth on the front end of that car, trying to make some moves after a poor qualifying run. Little twitch there by the Corvette right in front of him. There's a spin. 78 car, Forte Racing is around.
And that's Misha Goikberg.
He will take a look at the replay, see how this evolved.
So there goes Rodriguez Salas.
Oh, Salas is right there, and he just drills him, just unsighted.
Here's the view from George Kurtz's car.
Oh, look at that, the 57 car's right in the middle of that mix. That's our GTD Championship leader. That blue and red machine just driving away, middle of that GT field.
Watch this view. This is on board with George Kurtz. There goes Salas, and right behind him, Stephen Thomas goes head first.
Yeah, he was just unsighted. I think when George went to the right of the stranded car, Thomas had nowhere to go and just suddenly saw it and couldn't react in time.
Let's show it to you again from the outside. The light blue car in Salas has already gone around, and there he is. And Stephen Thomas, as soon as the 65 Ford Mustang of Christopher Mees pulled to the left, it just left that car exposed, and Stephen Thomas had nowhere to go.
A lot of those cars drove over that debris, so they'll be concerned that there's tire pressure sensors that can give the warning to the driver and the crews that there may be an issue.
The bad news, his race is done prematurely. Stephen, that was a massive impact, at least what it looked like. Take us through what happened there as the monsoon ensued.
We were on rain tires, so I actually thought the grip was pretty decent. And we came through turn 9 and turn. There was a GT car filling up my windshield, like right in front of me. And I guess Rodrigo spun, and when the GT car went left, that's the first time I saw Rodrigo. He was like literally 10 feet in front of me. So I just went straight into him. There was nowhere to go.
And it busted the windshield. I don't think we've ever seen that completely happen on an LMP2 car. What was that like?
Well, I would say the first thing is when the GT car went left, it looked like Rodrigo was driving at me. And I hit him. I didn't realize the windshield was gone until I started to drive away and I was feeling the rain and I was like, oh, I have no windshield, right? So, look, I'm fine. It's just a shame for both Rodrigo and me that that happened in the rain, but not a lot you could do there.
Appreciate your time. Stephen Thomas, checked and released from the Infield Care Center, Dave.
This is a good scrap going on. Louis Delatraz putting immense pressure on the one-time race leader and defending race winner Felipe Nasr in that white, black, and red Porsche 963.
Oh, and he tries to come back over on line, but Delatraz had filled that slot. He's going to go side by side. He forces him off. They touch again. He's into the signboards as well as the BMW right behind him. Tries to take advantage. That's Sheldon Vanderlinde, the South African driver behind the wheel of the BMW.
He gets sideways off that turn, up on the strip, and catches it nicely. Debris in multiple areas of the track. Here's one front and center. Speaking of Mercedes power, the Korthoff Mercedes kind of stopped on track, and we're back racing. green flag flies here at the Glen. Let's get to it, and it's Renger van der Zande who leads.
Big
and on the
commitment by
inside,
Nasser.
Felipe Nasser and Dries Vanthoor.
That was really tight there. Nasser thought he saw a gap, locked up as he tried to turn into the corner with the combined load. Just misses the BMW, and they continue.
What a
He's
sound.
feeling it, Lee. He is feeling it, Nasser is, and now he's got his teammate Germany right behind him. Third and fourth cars in line of the two Porsche Penske machines.
How good is that Lamborghini going as well? That red, green and white car right there at the hands of Romain Grosjean.
Right behind him, you have that Valkyrie, that Aston Martin shrill of that V12 engine. Right there, Roman D'Angelo is the Canadian behind the wheel.
Ricky Taylor is the next in line. Colin Brown has got by Neil Jani. He hangs in there. This is a really swift opening lap. Back to racing on slick tires, the track drying. We're back to normal, so to speak. Full speed, and Renger van der Zande in control of this race, some 4.7 seconds ahead. Wow, look at this. Whoa! Whoa!
What a save. Does he grab it before he hits the guardrail? I think he got away with it.
Have a listen.
Right on board with him. Just wide there, he downshifts, tries to slow down the car and arrest the speed.
Jack Aitken take a bow.
Max Verstappen-esque. Incredible stuff.
That was rally driving in a GTP prototype.
Talk about getting airtime literally on the network and also at the racetrack. Just pushed off of that second left-hand apex a little bit, could not keep it on the track, and coming back over the apex curve there, that last right-hand apex, just launched that car. I would think I might be a little concerned about the undertray. That was a big hit when he came over the backside of the car.
Somebody who might need to cool off is Sandy Mitchell. This is an unfortunate situation in the Pfaff Lamborghini.
He sped off the road here, and the problem is with the amount of rain that we had, this grass means he will not be able to change direction of the race car. Gets in here, a little bit deep, just missed it. And then you can see he's got zero ability to change direction with that race car. So a little bit of a lock up there. These cars do have ABS. I'm not sure if there was a technical issue with the car that caused this.
However, we still remain under this fourth full course caution. There's some debris being cleaned up, and also the Pfaff Lamborghini, and just due to pit stop cycles, there is a new overall race leader, and it is former F1 and former IndyCar driver Romain Grosjean in the Lamborghini. And talking about pit stops, a tremendous race off pit road between the BMW of Dries Vanthoor and Kaku Ota, taking over from Renger van der Zande in the race leader 93, that Acura that has dominated this race thus far. That was good. That was close, Brian.
Yeah, it was good stuff, and there's a protocol. You see the 7 sneak out in front of the 60 at the bottom of the shot. There is a pit lane protocol. If you come out and there is overlap with a car in the fast lane, that far left lane, you must go behind him. So we saw that with the BMW in the 93, but tell you what, for Ota, what kind of pressure is on his shoulders right now? Welcome back to the series, and oh, by the way, we won the last time out, and we're in the lead right now, so here, you go have fun.
No, but, you know, we still got a long way to go, and we got a fast car, and we've got fast drivers, so I think we'll be okay.
Well, if he needs to cool off, he certainly knows where that cool water dunk tank is back by the hull. We're back to green.
That's exactly right, Matt. We are back to green, and Romain Grosjean and the Lamborghini from Squadra Corsa leads the way. How good does that sound? This is a car and team that debuted last year at the Mobil 1 12 Hours of Sebring. Hasn't done every race. It's been a little bit of a patchwork appearance, but this has been this car and this team's best representation yet since starting to compete in IMSA WeatherTech competition. Let's go back to GTD Pro, and it is on big time. Between the Lexus, the Porsche, and the Fords are in there as well.
It's on big time between the entire field, I think. Look at that Mustang right up behind the Porsche as they head into the inner loop. The team that has been so consistent this year is the number 3 Corvette. And you ride on board right now with Antonio Garcia. They've done a great job sitting second in the GTD Pro Championship right now, but they are winless. They would love to find one here at Watkins Glen. He and Alexander Sims have been the model of consistency, but they've yet to find that top step.
Now we've got a beautiful day on our hands, but not so beautiful for two teams and two drivers who were just involved in a big incident, which brings out the 5th full course caution of the day. Nico Pino in the Mustang Sampling Proton. Look at the black and gold car, and across comes Wyatt Brickarczyk, and they collide at heavy speed.
He just does not know that Nico Pino is there, and this continues. Take a look from on board.
Oh,
Ferrari, that is huge. That is huge. I think the 120 may get involved in this as well, yeah.
So the Proton competition, Porsche 963, the Lone Star Mercedes AMG, and that is as good as day done.
But he's taking a quick break. There will be no break in the action as the green flag waves, and we are back underway after a full course caution for a big incident between two GTD cars and the number 5 GTP Porsche from Proton competition. But back underway now, and impressed with Romain Grosjean in the lead right now aboard his Lamborghini. Lamborghini had only led 11 races coming into this weekend, and most of those laps led were simply because of full course cautions and where they were on the racetrack. It wasn't because of outright speed. Good strategy has put him there, but Grosjean has shown great speed once he got to the front. Be another good day. Under full course caution because of the number 9, the Lamborghini from Fab Motorsports off the side. And now this will be a standard yellow, so the pits are now open for GTP and LMP2.
Yeah, key is look at the clock, Brian. Those bonus points are going to be awarded at the 3-hour mark. Does anyone like to stay out and gain that track position to get those for the Michelin Endurance Cup? But it seems like the whole GTP field is in. See if anyone stayed out on the racetrack or not.
Keep an eye on the leader, the 63. There'll be a driver change there. Grosjean was talking about how hot he was in the car. So he'll hand that over to Danny Kvyat. Climbs in.
Yeah, it's really a determination on how much focus you put on that Michelin Endurance Cup versus really compromising your race strategy. Because the pit right now, you can do it on 2 more stops to the finish. If we went full green, obviously yellows changes that strategy completely, and you always got to be flexible with that. Nick Yellow. Oh, that was close. He almost went with the mechanic right in front of him. He got the call go, but the mechanic was crossing his bow there. That was really close.
That was close, and those shots from our WeatherTech over the wall can show you just how close it is. And I mean, you cannot waste any time at all on pit lane, and the crew has faith that the driver's going to do what he needs to do, and the crew is like, I'm going to do my thing, and he's going to leave me alone. And for the driver, he's focused on when the radio crackles and they say go, he's dropping the hammer right behind as we come back to green. And I wonder if it's why we saw Ricky Taylor be so aggressive at the start. You need to have a good day, and you need the Porsche Penske duos to have a bad day. Right now, the 6 leads across the line here as we come back to green.
See that violent whipping around, change the direction of these race cars. It's not so much for tire temperature, just trying to clean them off. When you're running around under caution, you can pick up the marbles. The tires are dirty. As Albuquerque times that draft to perfection. He flicks to the outside of Campbell, and to the inside goes Nick Yellow. The Brit going for the lead. Gives it up. Albuquerque swings across and grabs it for the 10 machine.
Tell you what, great decision by Nick Yellowly. He knew that he had cleared Campbell, and I think he felt like maybe Albuquerque doesn't know I was here because they were 3 wide, and that Acura was on the inside, Cadillac on the outside with a Porsche in between. And I think Nick Yellowly says, we still have a long way to go. I'm not going to throw it away right here, right now.
Well, I think over the last month he may feel he's invincible, but he had to give it up there. But look at this action. Mid-pack in GTD Pro. The 64 car, Sebastian Prio. Big move around the outside. Coming off that victory on the streets of Detroit, going head-to-head here with the 48 machine. Here's a replay of the change for the lead in GTD Pro. Garcia sets up Barkley here.
He just drives around it. And that's exactly where the BMWs were pouncing all over the back. It just seems like the balance isn't what it needs to be aboard the 77.
Yeah, that's a dramatic delta in speed between those 2 cars there. That was bizarre. It wasn't like he just come out of pit lane or the tires were cold. He obviously was in some dirty air there, and it's a corner of the racetrack where you're just trying to squeeze onto the power and get the run down the hill, and he just loses the tail end of that BMW. Super fast driver. So much success with BMW, winning a couple of DTM championships along the way of his career. But that is one heavily injured BMW hybrid machine.
Full course caution. That is going to be our 8th of the day.
Tight there, nearly running over the top of Albuquerque on pit entry. Now his stop theoretically should be, if they do a full energy fill, he may be stationary a little bit longer. Matty, you're waiting for them.
And they've reminded him of that. They also mentioned to him about possible debris on pit lane from that BMW, as both Cadillacs of Albuquerque and Taylor hit pit lane. Meanwhile, on board with that 93, Nick Yellowly, and go ahead and put on those Michelins and pack them full of VP Racing fuel. You saw Wayne Taylor overlooking pit lane from his perch, would so love to score a trophy and get back into victory lane. They feel like they've gained some momentum this weekend with that BOP change. Another tear off the windshield of Yellowly. The door is shut, still waiting. It's going to be a while yet, waiting on that fuel, as the cars are starting to go ahead and pull off pit lane.
And there you see it, Matty. The 40 car leapfrogs around the 93 just because Yellowly had burned a little bit more energy on that previous stint.
60 gets out in front of the 24. That was the other way when they came into the pit lane. So 60 picks up a position.
So he was having a solid day as the 85 squad. Really struggled with the race car all weekend long.
Did. To Earl Bamber, the green flag looks good. When you're leading, it always looks good as you come around that final corner for the restart. Another team with a Cadillac in the stable, and we talked about this. The Cadillacs have found their pace here at Watkins Glen. And big hit.
The Van der Steur Racing Aston Martin. Valentine back from Le Mans, one of 60 drivers that are competing in this race here today who have performed the double over the last couple of weeks.
Very talented race car driver, and turn 6 is a corner that will certainly eat cars, but a lot of times you have to have some help, and I'm looking at where the contact is with the wall in the corner, and I wonder if he didn't have a little bit of help in a battle on the way in there that got him to the wall. He's in it very directly, almost perpendicular to the wall, a head-on kind of impact there, and typically when you see that, the problem starts well early in the corner. And
Roman, thanks so much, Brian. We are back to green.
Indeed we are, and it is the Cadillac of Earl Bamber who is in the lead across the line. Just behind him, the 7 of Nick Tandy. Be interesting to see how quickly Philippe Albuquerque can go to work in the Cadillac, and I didn't even get the words out of my mouth before he pounces.
This didn't take long, did it? Wow. And I think this is really an indicator of that big balance of performance change that we saw prior to Detroit. Look at that Porsche just being absolutely swarmed by initially the Cadillacs and an Acura as well in one straightaway.
And
Caution's
full course
out
caution.
again. Uh-oh.
It's one of the Porsches.
Uh-oh.
It's the 7.
It's the 7, the championship leader, Nick Tandy. That car is crunched.
Look at the left front wheel. Big impact. Obviously, the nose is gone. The tail section is gone. Huge
There it
impact
is in the
there.
background. Oh, my goodness.
Looks to me like he may have gotten up on the curb and came back around to driver's right, made impact with the wall, driver's right. Was someone else involved, or was that on his own?
Calvin brought it up hours and hours ago, right at the top of the NBC broadcast, that there has been a sea change in this championship, and that started at Detroit with an end to the Porsche Penske Motorsport winning. This is a dramatic change now with the championship leader. The car is just torn apart.
Well, and I said this earlier as well when Calvin and I were talking about season running out. Let's take a look and see what happens. Top of the screen, way to the back. Paint, yep, gets up on the curb, boom. Whoa. Huge hit.
Have a listen to this. We go on board with Nick Tandy.
just odd that painted surface obviously has less grip than the plain asphalt because it fills in all the aggregate. Great to see Nick out of the car on his own after an impact like that. Man, that was brutal.
Dave?
Yeah, and the team has been watching the monitor, watching him hop out was the same way for them. Before he got out, he did key the mic, I'm hopping out, so we knew he was okay. They also have to put this hybrid car into a safety mode, which it took a minute for him to get to. So no word yet on what caused the crash. Car in safe mode, driver gets out, safe mode for that body right there too.
All right, we were getting ready to go racing again. Green flag is displayed here at the Glen. Let's get back to it. Earl Bamber leads the field to green, with Nick Yellerly doing the chasing, then Philippe Albuquerque, followed by Tom Blomqvist. And then Roman DeAngelis. On the inside is Danny Kvyat making a move.
That was a bold move there on Timon van der Helm. Now van der Helm tries to go back at him as Bamber climbs the hill up through the S's.
And just one look at this, Dane Cameron all over Paul di Resta.
Big run here down the back stretch. Now it's all about who has the least amount of downforce, how trimmed out they have their race cars. Cameron on the move. You see the puff of smoke there as he hits one of those bumps down the back stretch.
AO Racing wants to win a couple of weekends in a row at Le Mans and here at Watkins Glen. Di Resta goes around the outside of the Paul Miller BMW.
Cameron goes with him, but he loses about a car length in that exchange. Di Resta was able just to clear that car a little bit earlier. Dane had to just wait for the opportunity to get back to the power, and that cost him just a little bit, but he's definitely on the front foot, and they have about a 6-second lead over Bourdais and company sitting there in the top 5.
Check this out in GTD Pro. This was wild.
Wow, that is incredible there, and the 3-car of Sims just hangs on. That is mighty stuff. May have been a little touch there, he still sends it, overshoots the corner a little bit, keeps it straight. What poise, that was remarkable, Brian.
Was remarkable, but he didn't get put there. He got there because he went too late into the corner and shortcut the course and picked up a position. So what are we going to say about that from race control?
There you go with your race director's hat on immediately.
Come on, Brian, that was just good fun.
Robbins racing.
And there was some rubbing here between Robbie Foley and Pietro Fittipaldi that resulted in the Pratt Miller LMP2 prototype into the wall, but Pietro was able to flick spin it pretty quickly and get going. How bad is the front of that BMW M4?
Yeah, and I think Foley was literally being pushed by the Aston Martin. I think he may have been trying to get out of the gas, and he was almost pushed into him. What a splash.
That Dragon Speed Ferrari is looking good. That white and blue car, there's contact.
Rocky, the meat and the sandwich there, just no room, nowhere to go with it, and that allows the 4-car of Catsburg to make a run around the outside on Rockefeller.
Oh, this may end in tears. This is not good.
I'm looking at Heinrich right now, and I would be surprised if I don't see a message coming up on the timing screen pretty soon. He is all over the racetrack. Like I said, going underneath that steering tire and creating a problem, but I don't think you have to worry about the tire being damaged. If you've got a car off, and this was contact with the left rear, definitely askew.
Yeah, that's Eastwood from P3 in class.
Yeah.
What a shame. It has been such a stellar day for the DXDT Corvette team. Now this is a podium that has disappeared.
He's getting to a safe haven there. They're displayed there with those orange. I think he might have just had failure.
That's a failure. Yeah.
Again, you abuse the curbs here at Watkins Glen so severely. It is a car punisher. Yellerly's to pit lane.
Oh, here we go. So the Aston Martin, the second car you see in shot, is a lap down. The next one is Tom Blomqvist. Then you get to the 2 WTR Cadillacs that are full of energy. They are the most proud on energy of these front-running cars.
Hard break. There was the 93.
There was 1% between Bamber and the 93 in terms of what our data was displaying. So Bamber's got to be really tight here to make it.
And they're going to come to the white flag next time by. Look at this angry bunch here. Jack Hawksworth to the left of your screen, he leads GTD, and he's in amongst all the GTD Pro cars.
Yeah, he's trying to get some of those Pro cars between he and Shandolf, who currently runs in second. Rexy can go again. Heinrich can unleash the reins a little bit on this Porsche because he's got a bit of energy saved now.
Oh boy, you would not want to be in the middle of this pack. Mike Rockefeller's trying to rough up Lauren Heinrich after they gave each other a bit of a rough up earlier in this race.
Yeah, this could end in tears. It is intense. Look at this as they're working through. GTP cars coming through. You talk about the 85 coming to pit road. He's mixed up in there.
There was some body work. Oh, the 31 is in. It's over for Earl Bamber. He's run out of energy on the last lap. Tom Blomqvist and Meyer Shank go to the lead with 3.4 miles to go.
He's showing 4%. He should be good.
It's down to 3%. And here comes Louis Delatraz.
It was 5% when he started that last lap. If you do the math, he should be able to make it. But how hard can he press? Because the Cadillacs behind him are going to be wide open.
1.8 seconds to the Dex Imaging Cadillac. Can Tom Blomqvist hang on? Here's Delatraz storming home. Remember, this car was the first to pit last.
2% for Blomqvist. He's halfway through the lap. It was 4 at the line. It's now 2.
It should be okay for a dramatic win. And to Cal's point, back-to-back for Meyer Shank in successive races, but the 2 different cars.
Yeah, you could see Blomqvist, he didn't attack his teammate, and by doing that, he got a little bit more energy save than Yellerly did by trying to chase after Bamber. And that has come his way with this late race caution, and not everyone having to come.
Got to make it to the top of the hill. He does. 2 more corners to go. It's relatively flat. 1%.
It's down to 1% energy. Turn 10. Turn 11 waiting. Talk about squeezing every ounce out. Tom Blomqvist and Colin Brown. Meyer Shank Racing wins the Sahlen 6 Hours of the Glen. With 1% energy. Jack Hawksworth is out of gas.
That's crazy. He's showing 10%. What is going on? Did he not pick up those last few ounces?
Paul DeResta and United Autosport, they win in LMP2. What a thriller that was, with Dane Cameron and Malte Jakobsen. And then in GTD Pro, it's Dan Harper and Paul Miller Racing. They rebound from a tough Detroit to succeed at Watkins Glen. What happened to Jack Hawksworth?
That is crazy. Data is showing that he had fuel on board, Lee.
Tom Gamble and the heart of racing, Aston Martin does it again to continue their amazing run here at the Glen. But with virtually nothing left in the tank, Meyer Shank wins, and Acura on top, the Triassi Ferrari in the wall, and heartbreak for the Lexus. Stopped on the final lap.
That's crazy, and he's just plummeting down the order. The timing and scoring is still changing as we even sit here to not take advantage of the drama for the championship leaders, the number 57 Winwood Racing Mercedes. Looked like there's going to be a huge point swing, and it all goes away in the final lap of the race.
See what happens to the 021 of Alessandro Bolzon.
It's a little shove there by a fellow Ferrari. That's the Conquest Racing machine to the inside, I believe.
Tom hops down. Colin he's been resting, but man, I can tell it was rough out there today. We'll talk to you first. It's been a minute, and you told me at the test the car was really good. Could you imagine this?
Man, I couldn't have, especially given, you know, kind of the start of our race. It was a bit challenging with no wiper there for me. Luckily, we did great strategy. Guys had great stops. Super proud of everyone. Acura, MSR, HRC. Tom did a great job there at the end, saving the fuel, and man, the guys on the pit box were sweating bullets up there, but man, they made it happen there at the end. So yeah, pumped.
Did you think he could make it?
I did, yeah. I know. I could see him coming into play, and I was like, oh man, hopefully everything's on our side. So yeah, super job, super job.
Everything's on your side, but very, very difficult to make it to the end. And your teammate kind of had to run out front there, Tom. So what about it? How did you, as you reach in and finish up things here, how did you do it?
I mean, the guys gave me a target, and we were able to execute, you know. I mean, the car came alive there. I knew we just needed a bit of kind of space. We were able to capitalize on a couple of restarts. The guys did a great strategy, and yeah, the pace was there to be able to hit those really big fuel targets, and that's what enabled me to go to the end and the others not. So really proud of the effort of everyone. It was an up and down race for us. We had a few mistakes there at the beginning, but you know, we we made the most of it there at the end. So I'm so happy for the guys. It's been a really tough year. We haven't really had what we believe we deserve. So yeah, I'm happy for Colin, I'm happy for our crew, the Skissy guys. You know, they work super hard. So yeah, this is for them.
And for the organization, right? 2 in a row. Renger making the move at Detroit, and now this.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, the guys have really stepped it up. You know, we're just getting better and better every race. So hopefully, yeah, more to come.
The 6 hours at the Glen belongs to Acura and Meyershank Racing. Tom Bloomquist brings it to the checkers.
Yeah, get something, get a Coke, get some water, get whatever, because a hot, humid day, and then that thriller of a finish. So, as the BMW results, the unofficial results roll through at the bottom of your screen, let's take a look at the provisional driver standings. It was a tough day for Nick Tandy and Felipe Nasr, but maybe a little bit of damage control, the way that that all played out, just 12 the difference. They lose the lead to their teammates, but the margin is still pretty close.
Yeah, I think the biggest concern for all of the Porsches right now is their pace. I mean, with that BOP change, which was massive before Detroit, they're just not really in the fight, so to speak, for the victory. The Cadillacs look quick. Certainly the Acuras on the back of back-to-back wins obviously have potential to go to Road America and do the same thing.
Yeah, but I still keep looking at it and I go, Porsche Penske is still in control of this championship. And for everybody who's doing battle with them, they're going to have to keep fighting just like they did for the rest of the season, or those two are going to own it.
Let's continue the celebrations. Let's go back, and here's Matt Yoakum with GTD Pro.
And the celebration continues down here in the BMW camp. Everyone coming by and congratulating Dan first. Your first IMSA WeatherTech win, and you do it at a special place, and it's a crown jewel event. What's this mean to you?
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's the same for my teammate Max. And to be fair, I was the one that made it hard for us today with the penalty early on for crossing the red light. So to be honest, at that moment, I thought I'd sort of blown it a bit, and I knew we had the pace in the car to win today. So yeah, Max did a great job to bring us back up the order. The team made some great calls and strategy in the pit stops at the right time. And I was just put back in to make it all up at the end. So, no, it was good, great result, and so happy to get the win for Paul Miller Racing.
Total team effort. What was the chaos like? How would you describe that today?
Yeah, you know, we were obviously then on the back foot, so I was trying to make our places. Some were a bit easier to pass than others, but got our way into P1, honestly, with great pit stops, great fuel strategy. So, yeah, and then handed over the car back to Dan to bring it home.
The two young guys, they pull it off big time. First wins here at the Glen.
Great work from the Paul Miller duo, and we show you some more points here after the halfway point now of the season. And GTD Pro, it's 62 the margin between the Corvette duo of Antonio Garcia, Alexander Sims. They're on top now, ahead of Barkler and Heinrich.
Yeah, 4 podiums, still yet to see victory lane, but they got the points lead, Brian.
Well, that's what we were talking about at the beginning of the program, the consistency that Garcia and Sims have shown in that Corvette. Yeah, they want to win a race, and I think you're going to have to by the end of the season, but that consistency and the problems for the 77 today, enough to give them the points lead for now, but we've got a long way to go in GTD Pro.
Aston Martin, and in particular Heart of Racing, have a very good history here. And that continues today with victory in GT Daytona. Tell us more, Chris.
Well, what a fight to the finish in GTD. What looked like a second-place finish for the Heart of Racing. Suddenly, the seas parted for Tom Gamble as the Lexus ran out of fuel or had an issue, and suddenly you guys are in victory lane. Describe the chaos of that last restart and when you knew you had it.
Yeah, I mean, emotions was all over the place. I went into turn one, I thought I just completely lost the car. And then, yeah, I got back into second. I was like, oh, I think it's going to be second, settle for second. And then, because I had the Rexy in the middle of us, so a bit disappointed because we had, you know, Heart of Racing, the Aston Martin, you know, it's absolutely phenomenal today. It was flying, and I was like, oh, a bit gutted because this is, you know, a car that can win the race. And then, yeah, all of a sudden slowed down, and I thought I was going to have a heart attack on the radio. So, yeah, incredible job by the team as always, and yeah, a great day out.
Casper Stevenson, another first-time winner here at Watkins Glen. Describe your day, the heat, everything you had to battle. It just seemed like it all came together.
It did. I'm so grateful for my teammates. Yeah, we just kept climbing in the last hour, and I can't believe it went green on the last lap, but thank God it did. And yeah, I'm chuffed.
Zachary Robichon, I remember last week you secured pole at Le Mans, didn't come up with a podium. Is today redemption for you in this team?
Yeah, definitely. I was a little bit skeptical when we had pole, and I was like, oh no, this didn't work last week. So I was really hoping that we could have a clean race, and I knew if we would have a clean race, we could fight at the front, and proven. Obviously, I feel really bad for the number 12 guys. You know, kind of, I feel that pain, so I just want to say great job to them. But it is really nice for us, and you got to be good to be lucky, and we definitely got a bit lucky today.
The Aston Martin lucky today in Watkins Glen, victorious for the Heart of Racing, their fourth win at Watkins Glen.
All right, that makes us look at the updated points in GTD, and although it was a rough day for the 57 crew, they still stand on top.
They do. If Hawksworth had got it to the line, they'd have been top of the table, but they're still in this championship in a big way, but bit of disappointment for Lexus.
Well, and we always say racing is full of ifs, right? I mean, that's why you race to the checker flag. You never give up. And for the 27 squad, they did what they needed to do, but really impressed again with Windward Racing. They had the problems, they had the damage, they got the car repaired, got it back out there, they scored some points. And when others have a bad day, and you do too, you got to collect as many as you can. That's exactly what they did. They still lead.